Welcome to today's explainer. I'm putting on my seasoned productivity consultant hat today because we are going to take the core lessons from Tim Ferriss's revolutionary concepts and turn them into a highly practical, immediate implementation checklist. My goal? I want to absolutely shatter the illusion of the standard 40-year work life. You know the drill. We've all been taught to go to school, get a safe job, work 40 to 50 hours a week for 4 decades, and then, eventually, finally, enjoy our lives. But today, we're redesigning that entire reality.
So what if retirement is actually the worst case scenario? I know it sounds totally crazy, right? But really think about it. Relying on retirement as the ultimate finish line is just a severely flawed life plan. Waiting 40 years to finally live your life on your own terms, only to potentially end up bored out of your mind or physically unable to enjoy those years because of declining health, is a terrible gamble. You're essentially trading the best, most energetic years of your life for a payout that literally isn't even guaranteed.
Okay, let's dive into this. To get you out of this trap, I've broken down the source material into a step-by-step checklist to redesign your reality today. We'll hit the retirement trap, create your dreamline, the 80-20 purge, set firm deadlines, outsource your life, and finally, fill the void. All right, starting with part 1, the retirement trap. To actually escape the 9-to-5, we have to fundamentally redefine what it means to be wealthy. Because look, absolute income, just the raw number of dollars you bring in each year, means practically nothing if you lack the time and mobility to actually enjoy it. Take Jane, for example. She makes $100,000 a year. Mike makes $50,000. So in absolute terms, Jane is twice as rich. But let's look a little closer. Jane is working a soul-crushing 80 hours a week, and she's tied down to San Francisco, which is one of the most expensive cities in the world. Mike, on the other hand, works just 20 hours a week remotely and lives in highly affordable Thailand. When you break that down by the hour, Jane makes about $25 an hour, Mike makes $50 an hour. Because Mike has geographic freedom, what we call geo-arbitrage, and complete control over his time, his relative income makes him vastly richer than Jane. Moving right along to step 2. Create your dreamline. This is the first concrete action item on your checklist. We need to shift from abstract, vague desires like, oh, I want to be a millionaire someday, to the hard, unforgiving math of what you actually want your life to look like right now. Enter the Dreamline worksheet. This is where you list what you want to have, be, and do over a short 6-month timeline, and then calculate the exact monthly cost. Want to drive an Aston Martin? Well, you don't need $1 million in the bank to buy it in cash. Leasing it might cost you, say, $1,500 a month. Want to be fluent in Spanish with a private tutor? That's maybe $150 a month. A 2-week trip to Bali, amortized over the year, let's call it $400 a month. When you actually calculate the exact monthly cost of your absolute dream lifestyle, you'll almost always find that living like a millionaire is highly affordable and completely within your reach today. Which brings us to step 3, the 80-20 purge. Now that you know exactly how much money you actually need to fund your dreamline, we must ruthlessly eliminate the fat from your daily routine to buy back your time. We've got to apply extreme efficiency. And this brilliantly illustrates the Pareto principle. The law states that 80% of your outputs come from just 20% of your inputs. As your productivity consultant today, I challenge you to look at your life right now. What 20% of your efforts are producing 80% of your income? And conversely, what 20% of your activities or clients are causing 80% of your stress? Identify that top 20% of positive output and focus intensely on it. Take the other 80% of busy work that's yielding almost nothing and just completely eliminate it. In fact, I want you to literally put this exact question on your daily calendar. Am I being productive or just active? We have this massive cultural obsession with being busy, don't we? We wear 70-hour work weeks like a badge of honor. But shuffling papers around, checking emails 15 times a day, and sitting in pointless meetings isn't being productive. You are just mistaking activity for actual effective work. Here is some literal, actionable advice you can implement the exact moment this explainer ends. Step 1. Stop leaving your inbox open. Those constant dopamine hits are completely destroying your focus. Instead, batch your emails. Check them only twice a day, say at noon and at 4 p.m. Step 2. When someone ambushes your desk or starts rambling on a call, use the fake phone call trick. Just say, hey, I'm right in the middle of something urgent. How can I help you quickly? They will magically condense a 20-minute rambling story into a 30-second summary. Eliminate these time wasters and you will reclaim hours of lost productivity every single day. All right, step 4 on our checklist. Set firm deadlines.
Now that we've eliminated the useless tasks, we need to compress the time we spend on the necessary ones to force maximum efficiency. This is governed by Parkinson's law, which states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. Think about it. If your boss gives you 8 hours to complete a task that really only takes 2, you will miraculously find 6 hours of unnecessary busy work, anxiety, and procrastination to stretch it out. Tasks will magically clutter your schedule if you don't apply strict, unforgiving time boundaries. Let's look at this in practice. If you give yourself 1 week to write a report, it takes a week. Give yourself 1 day. Your focus narrows, and it takes a day. But if you sit down and say, I have exactly 2 hours to finish this before I have to leave, your brain goes into maximum efficiency mode. You completely ignore that 80% of useless effort and you just execute. By setting impossibly short deadlines for yourself, you force your brain to only do the essential work. Next up, step 5, outsource your life. This is where we pivot to delegation. I am challenging you right now to stop doing everything yourself. You need to start thinking like a business owner and buy back your time. So the crucial point is the math right here, $30. If you run an online business or have a high hourly value, let's say your time is worth $50 an hour. You have a task you absolutely hate doing. Maybe it's data entry or mowing the lawn. If you can pay a virtual assistant or a local worker $20 an hour to do it, you don't lose money. You net $30 in value. And more importantly, you buy back an hour of total freedom to either work on higher impact projects or just, enjoy your life. Here's a quick checklist of mundane tasks you should absolutely be outsourcing to a virtual assistant or local help. We're talking routine email filtering, data entry, household deep cleaning, lawn care, basic business research. Getting into the habit of delegating buys you back literal days of your life. But hear me clearly on this warning, never, ever outsource a task that should be completely eliminated in the first place. If a task serves no real purpose, don't pay someone $20 an hour to do it. Just stop doing it entirely.
And finally, step 6, fill the void.
This is a critical warning that most productivity guides completely ignore. We need to address the very real psychological impact of suddenly having all this freedom. Look, when you eliminate the 9-to-5 grind, you are going to be left with a massive void in your day. The opposite of happiness is not unhappiness, it is boredom. Sitting on a beach drinking cocktails sounds amazing for a week, but do it for a month and you will be pulling your hair out. Doing absolutely nothing is not the goal of this checklist. The goal is to free up your time so you can do what actually excites you. To live is to learn, whether that's learning a language, starting a passion business, or volunteering. So, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. If you had complete freedom tomorrow, what would you do to avoid being bored out of your mind? Stop working just for the sake of working. Stop wearing busyness as a badge of honor. Apply this checklist. Eliminate the useless, outsource the mundane, and start actively designing a thrilling, exciting life right now. You do not have to wait 40 years to live. Start today.